Hi, hello, welcome to Dusty Shop, where bad decisions are rapid and planning is lacking. So, don't do what we do. Well, you could try it. Have fun with it. You know, do the YouTube stuff. Click like and subscribe. Alright, thanks. Alright, circus goers, so today we're going to build a flat top grill. One like DIY, IDY, you know, one of them deals where you load it in there and the wood feeds itself, or coals, whatever, and then you just cook on it. You know, just sit here and fire it up, whatever. This is George's little deal, and yeah, when we were making the video, obviously I'm gonna be doing a voiceover through the whole thing because we have no audio. Don't know what happened, but yeah, it's one of them deals. So George has already cut a lot of the material here, as you can see, and so we will let George, yeah, it's just gonna be his little deal. So we'll get started on this, and we'll get this thing kind of welded out, and go over it as we go. So all right, well, here, let's get it going. All right, circus goers, so what George has got here is he's got two pieces, well, actually three pieces. 4-inch for the base, the upright pipe, and then the feed tube, I guess it is. I believe the angles on that one, the first one, is to make a 45-degree angle, and it's got to feed into the upper part, so there's like a notch cut into the upright 4-piece. And then there is the 3-inch C-purling there. That is two of them are for the feet, and one of them is for basically making an ashtray for the ashes that come out of it. And that little piece there he put on top is a cap for the ends. So we will those are all the components. Like I said, you got to cut them out, and I got a 45-degree angle on that first one, and kind of blends into the second one next to it. That's the upright, and then the base. The height of the upright is, I guess it depends on what you want, how you want it. I guess you can kind of like do whatever you like. That's the nice thing about DIY. Do it how you want. So alright, so what George has got right there in his hand is going to be what he's going to use to put the ashes after everything burns and goes like an ashtray. You know, you gotta have these things in these clean outs, whatever you want to call it. Right now George has got he's making the ends for that piece. It's just a piece of C-purling. We got a new plasma cutter in the shop, and I think this is George's first time really cutting with it. I think we just kind of played around to see what it would do. The old one was a drag style, so you stuck it on the metal, drag it. This one is not, so you gotta have a standoff. And we have a roller standoff on it right now. We have one that's kind of smooth. Then anyhow, we're trying to figure out what to use to get that right height, keep that height we need for this thing to work. Plus it's new, it cuts a little different, it acts a little different than the old one, so we were so used to the old one, just kind of a learning curve. That's why looks like he might be having a little issue, because it's hard to see. We got rollers on it right now. I don't know if I like the rollers. We might go to something that looks like a piece of wire, basically wire guides. They're a little thinner, I don't know. I was trying a roller. I got some other ones too, but like I said, it's just learning a new piece of machinery. It just takes a little bit. So like I said, George is getting the cuts made to the ends. Like I said, this machine works a lot different than the old one too. So that's it's just looks like he's struggling, but he's not. It's just trying to learn how to get this thing to cuts good. It's just learning, and like I said, the old one had a pause at the beginning, and once you were cutting you could stop and start instantly. This one is the other way around. It's got a pause at the beginning and instant when you stop for a second and keep cutting. Different. But with that being said, George got the end plates cut out, so that's what those are for right now. They're rough cut. We'll let that, you know, do what we gotta do, get them right. And there's the other one for the other end of it. So what George has got now is that is a piece of 3-inch C-purling. The tubing is 4, so it fits super snug. And if you know how metal is, once you start heating it up and cooling all the time, things kind of move around and get a little weird. So he wants to split it down the middle, kind of narrow it down, make sure it's got plenty of room to get in there and slide in and out, no problems. Last thing you want to do is biting it. So that's what he's going to do right here. So he's got the old plasma out, and he's going to split it right down the middle. See how that fits in there. So come on through. That's when the wheels are nice right there. That's what we're talking about right there. He's like, straight cuts are great. Making, trying to do angles and stuff is not. So right now I'm trying to test fit it. Nope. Need to take a little bit more off one of the sides. It really doesn't matter what side you do. He's telling me it's tight. He wants more gap. So we went ahead and cut it. He's going to test fit it again. Make sure, everything's good. Yeah. I'm going to cut a little bit more off. So you just got to do it on one of them. You don't got to do both. Just one. Just take a big hunk out of one. And that's what he's going to do right there. It's kind of weird to cut with that thing now because it's on the rollers. So when you're trying to cut edge cut, you got to angle it and stuff. Get used to it. I'm not used to it either. So, and there we go. We're cutting through. I believe he took, I want to say 1/8 of an inch out of that thing. I think that's what it was. It was an 1/8 of an inch. Get some more air gap between the sides, so that way, like I said, you don't want to fight it, because you get a little humidity. It's going to sit outside. You're going to get a little rust in there. It's going to collect water. Blah blah blah. So, all right. So we're going to take a little measurement right there. That's where the fire and everything happens. Goes up the stack and all that. And we're taking a measurement there. We got some expanded metal right there. George is gonna mark out. Take the old grinder there with the cutoff wheel and cut that thing out of there, because using the plasma cutter or anything else is kind of brutal and ugly and real pain in the ass. The plasma cutter doesn't like the gaps. So anywho, that's gonna be where the fire sits, because grilling or making these things, you always got to have somewhere to keep the fire kind of where you can get air to it, so it'll burn good, not smother itself out in ash. And yeah, so there we go. I got that piece cut out, and now we're gonna slide it. He's putting it on the inside of it, because what's gonna do is you'll never see it, you'll never know it's there, and makes it easier when you're welding all the other components together, and it looks nice and clean. And like I said, this is a DIY, YDI. I've seen them done both ways, and this is the way George wants to do it. And since he's building it, it's the way he wants it. Alright, so as George is doing the final touches to that piece of expanded metal to get her fitted up right, any little spots on it cleared up. Looks like he's got it where he likes it. So he's gonna slide it inside like that. Yep, slide it right up through there. Get it lined up where you want it. Expanded metal's such a joy to weld up. So we'll spot weld it in corners. And the most thing you can do is kind of like spot weld it on the spots where the expanded metal touches the tubing, because it's expanded metal. If you've ever welded it, you understand. If you haven't, have fun with it. But as you can see here, we do everything with safety in mind. Of course, we'll put the welding helmet on later. It's just spot welds. I mean, really. What's a little flash burn to the eyeballs? It's all good. It's all good. We both do it. No big deal. So, like I said, you got to get all the way around it. Get the edges. That way, when it just doesn't fall in when you put it all together, because it might be just a pain to get it out. Fix it. Alright, circus goers, with that being done, George is going to start laying out the feet. So we'll get some stuff out of the way. And yeah, there the feet are for it. Feet, yeah, something like that. So, like I said, get some junk out of the way. We're going to lay it out. You know, you can put feet in however you want. Some people say you should go, the feet should be as wide as the whatever is up on top. Yin, yang, whatever. You can make them how wide you want, narrow as you want. Too narrow, no. You know, she'll topple over. George caught this one right on the money. About the same, almost the same width as the top. So you just kind of laying out, getting the center on it, so that way he can get it marked. So when he puts it on the tubing, everything lines up. You don't got to think about it too much. So now he's got the side to side. Got to get the end gaps going. Lay those out. Get everything lined up. Because when you're welding, you know, you bump stuff, move stuff around so you get a better angle. It's a wonderful idea to mark everything out real good. So that way you can always put it back easily without having to tape measure it every time. So, like I said, final check. Make sure everything's where he wants it. Looks good. All in spot. Give it a little, there we go, little tack here, maybe 2 good little tacks there, another one on this side, 2 good tacks. There we go, that's tacked in. Won't go nowhere. So now we're going to do the other side the exact same way. You know, get everything lined up, get some tacks on it, and away we go. Alright, so George has got now is he's got the upright tube, stack, tube, heat, whatever. So that's got the cutout. And now you're going to line that up a little bit better. So you're going to cover up all your holes and get it level and square. Now we know our table's flat and level because if you ever watched any of our other videos, when we built that table, one of the things when we did the mod to it was make sure that the table was flat. So that way when we're doing stuff like this, you never have to worry about the table. The table's always flat. So you just use a level to level up all your pieces. Make sure you're sitting good. So that's what he's doing now. You gotta cover up all the cutouts that he made in here. Put a couple tacks to get the pipe. So you want the pipe square. You know, if you're cooking, making a cooker, cooking weenies, you don't want them rolling off the flat grill. Yeah, something. So give it a little tack there. Yeah, give it a couple tacks. As you can see the opening there in the tube, which I guess that's where the fire is gonna be loaded into, something like that. Yeah, yeah. See, you can see right there. It's got to be cut out there. And so he's checking. You know, you tack it. You got to keep checking. Make sure that you don't pull yourself out of, you know, being level, square, plumb. Yeah, that stuff. And so you'll give her another couple tacks on this side. We're just tacking this thing together for right this minute, and then he'll get the, you know, will he put his hood on and weld it out? Will he not put his hood on and weld it on? Who knows? We'll see. Let's see what he decides to do. So you gotta keep checking because it's easy to pull yourself one way or the other when you're welding on it. Give it a couple little more just for, you know, you're gonna be flopping this thing around and, you know, with the top to come kind of get crazy. One last check, make sure we're all good and level, and then we put in the feed tube, which I think those are 45s, so that cutout shouldn't match the same opening as the cutout on the feed tube, and that's how you get that measurement from. And the feed tube angle could be whatever you want it to be. I think George has got that set at 45. You can put whatever you want. The steeper the slope, the faster the feed. The lower the slope, the slower it feeds. So I do know that much about it. And then, yeah, he's gonna put a couple tacks here, you know, kind of, because you got to get it all welded up and sealed up, so that way, you know, you don't lose your heat and your fire and all that good stuff. So if George gets it all tacked out and gives her one final like look, a little tweaking here and there, that way, so when you get to getting busy on the actual final weld, you ain't got to worry about things moving like they shouldn't while you're moving it around. And yeah, there we go. Looks like we're tacked up. Give it a last final inspection. Make sure he's happy. All right, so let's go. So what we got right there in front of us is the weld cam. Hopefully, maybe. We are messing around with this. See if we can get another different angle. Like when we're welding, so you can kind of see what we're doing. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, this is the first time we've actually used it, other than doing a little, like, 3 or 4 inch little test weld. So bear with us. It's going to be a learning curve for us, as long, you know, we'll see what it does. Like I said, I had to get it up closer. Like I said, all it is a GoPro inside of an auto shade hood and on a little stand. That way you don't have to hold it or mess with it. You can just kind of do your thing, and hopefully we can catch what he's doing when he's welding, what it looks like. If you're not a welder, you know, maybe interested in that kind of stuff. So here we go. Let's see what it looks like. Alright, circus goers, so this is what we're looking at here with the weld cam. This is, I'm editing it and I'm seeing it for the first time, and you're gonna get to see it too. You can see the weld. You can see welding something. I don't know. You know, this, we were hoping to see, I think, more of the puddle deal. And there he is, what he was actually doing. From this camera angle, where you know, kind of go back and forth here a little bit. We're going to go, I don't know, we don't have the camera right. Like I said, we can still play with this. This is new for us. We're still playing with it. Just kind of showing it to you. Here we go again. We're inside the hood. Maybe we need to cut the hood down, make some mods to the thing. I don't know. We're kind of moving around right now. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it might be the hood. It might be the auto shade in the hood. So you know how some of the cheaper hoods don't let all the spectrum of light through. Maybe we need to get a better lens. On the auto darkening part of it, maybe you see a little bit better. Maybe we need a different camera. Maybe, I don't know. I have to do a little homework on this one. I like the idea because at least, like, now you can kind of see what we're doing, kinda, somewhat. You can see where he's welding down the. Like I said, I don't know if we need to zoom in a little better. I'm not sure what we need to do with this. I have to play with it. I'm afraid that if we, I don't know. So I'm kind of looking at it. I'm thinking, and then because otherwise, this is what you get without the camera. And this is the whole reason why we were doing this, because we didn't want to, like, because it flashes out the camera. When you're looking at it in the video, it looks kind of funky, and I was trying to get away from this as much as I could with the weld hood cam. Kind of show you what George is doing, what he sees, versus like if you're just standing there looking at his shoulder like this and getting blinded by bright light coming off the welds. We're gonna continue on. We're gonna keep experimenting with it, trying to get it to work right. We'll get it. We will get it. We will get it. So kind of give you the weld cam. Like I said, right now he is finishing welding up everything he tacked. So we're gonna get all this welded up and you know, get her done. Alright, so what George got there is he has got the 2 halves for the ashtray or ash box or clean out box or whatever you want to call that thing, and just double check and make sure he likes the way it fits still, because you know, you get messing around sometimes. You put something down, come back to it, and you know, gotta make sure everything fits before you start welding together, because it's just terrible to cut it back apart. But not a big deal. Got a plasma cutter, cut it no problem. But try not to do that. Waste some time as he's fitting it out. You know, do all the safety stuff right there. Got a couple tacks on it, and that way we can do the finished weld out here on it. Make sure it's right. Like I said, still messing with the hood. But says he slides it in there, double check it, make sure it's right. Yep, good. We're good. Fits good. Everything looks good. So put the one end on it, and it's just a piece of flat metal that Fits inside there nice and neat. Back part. That goes like, I don't know, almost to the very back of the tray. You know, that tubing right there and the bottom. I think it goes from the end he's standing on all the way to the other, the feed side of it. So yeah, like that. Boom. As you can see, it goes back there pretty far. We can catch quite a bit of the ashes. So now what he's doing is he's making an angle iron frame to basically so you don't push it all the way too far in. You can kick it with your foot. You gotta really think about it. Sometimes you make that stuff out of thinner metal and ends up giving you problems because it'll bend and get all weird and all that. We have angle iron laying around, and George just likes to cut stuff up and weld it back together. So, oh, looks like we have a guest in the shop. Yeah, yes we do. Looking for, I guess, me. Probably me. Anywho, like I said, George is getting all that squared away so that way he can get to welding on that, get that put together, and then we'll put another piece in there, like a cap. There we go. There we go. The frame's on there. Got it tacked on there. Slides good. All looks nice. So he'll get to taking another piece and trimming it out to put on the outside of it. There it is. Boom. Get that cut out so that way you know, we don't want the ashes all hitting the floor. We don't want them. It makes it look a little nicer type deals. So he's getting all that laid out, and we'll get that cut out so that way we can get to welding. There we go. There we go. It's cut out now. Just sit it in there. You can lay it on the outside of it. Inside, outside. Tomato, tomato. All depends on how you feel. Look. What you like. Just the beauty of DIY. So, a little tack here. A little tack there. And boom, old Jed's a millionaire. There we go. Alright. So, we are going to... He's got it all tied together. Do one last fit. And we're going to try the hood again. See what we get this time going around. Alright. It's actually working a little bit better on this one. Got a little closer. You can see right there where he starts to weld. Ends the welds. Can I get in? I think we're looking more for like the what you see. You know, if you're welding, what you would see in there as you're welding. But like I said, it's all experimental. Or for us, experimental. People out there are doing it. Or you can get a camera that'll do it. And yeah, I'm not gonna spend that kind of money. But anyway, we'll keep playing with this idea. It's getting better. Like I said, it's getting better. We'll just weld the ends of the tray. You can see right there. That's kind of what we're looking for right there. Right there. You can see he's welding it up. So yeah, we're improving. That's what we're looking for right there. Right there. You can see, bang. I think maybe we tried a better hood. Maybe better auto shade system. This is an old system, so it's pretty dark, and there's no adjustment. I think maybe we lighten it up. The darkness. Maybe that might help. Now that I'm looking at the video myself here, might need it. I think it's too dark. Need to lighten it up. Go a couple shades lighter. Might be able to see stuff better. I had to try that. I had to check it out. If not, we may try another hood. So, all right. With that being said, George's got a piece of bar stock. Gonna stick it there in the vise and make a little handle. Oh yeah. Oops, did we forget something? Oh yeah, got it measured. You didn't think he was just gonna stick it in there and just bend it on a whim? No, we can measure stuff sometimes. Most of the time. Sometimes. Anywho, so we're gonna handle bent, you know, because we haven't got the bender thingy on our fab table done, because the fab table hasn't been built yet, and it's still a idea. Love to have. So we're gonna do it the old caveman way. Vise and a hammer. Beat that thing into submission. And yeah, there we go. Jed's a millionaire. Now we got a handle. Little tack here. You know how this works. A little tack there, just like that, and welded handle on. We are good to go. All right, circus goers. So as George there has the base and the flat top cooker itself, what we're doing right there is we are trying to figure out how to mount said two parts together. So this flat top has some risers on there with some pins or bolts or something like that, I think was what it was. And so, you know, we're trying to, what are we going to do? How are we going to mount? He's wanting to, like, maybe run some angle iron up to the side and all that other stuff. And so now we're looking at it, and I'm convinced that this is a bolt. And guess what? It's not a bolt. It's a pin. They're just really rusty. So we're going to, George's not liking the pin idea. He's thinking it's going to be too wobbly, and he wants something a little more sturdy to go up here, because we got to come up, like I said, we're talking about the also framing it, you know, the frame mount, and everything needs to be done to get it right. And so there we do. We come up with is we're going to use some 2-inch square tubing, and to give it some height, because we need to get the cooker top, we're going to give some gap. So then we're going to take that angle iron, we're going to weld it across the 2-inch, bring it up to give it some gap, because you want it, you want your center kind of hot, and you want your outside edges kind of cool, so that way you can control your cooking. But you don't want too much of a gap, so that the way it takes forever to heat that big piece of steel up, and then you're out there for like 7 days trying to like cook something. So there we go. We got the top there on the table. So like I said, George is just not digging it. We thought about drilling a hole and pinning it, and he's not digging that idea. So we're just gonna we're gonna lay the square tubing up there, finishing up the idea, getting a plan, or he's getting a plan for what he wants to do with it, what he wants it to look like, how does he want the tubing to sit, and all that. And like I said, right there we're discussing about cutting those little tabs off and then welding bolts to the top. But then I was kind of looking at it, and those little tabs gives it some gap between those angle iron pieces there on the frame. So yeah, you kind of have them, otherwise you're gonna be have 700,000 washers on it. So like I said, George doesn't like them. So guess what, we're cutting them off. So we're gonna cut all 4 of the tabs off and get them out of the way, because he doesn't like them. He doesn't feel like it'll be sturdy, or not secured. So basically, take some 3/8 bolts and got it all cleaned up, and do what we do, give it a little weld on it, so that way you got something to secure it to. And that's what George is doing now. A little tack there, a little tack there. Get all 4 corners done. And so now George is laying out the tubing we're going to use for the frame to connect to the top. Just laying out where to put the bolt holes, and the ends and all that good stuff you got to do, so that way everything sits kind of like it's supposed to. Gotta take your time. Like I said, you gotta clean the ends up and all that good stuff. Get it laid out so that way we can get it bolted out, and mark the holes that were drilled. So there we go. Our new favorite tool in the shop right now is that little bandsaw mounted up on that stand. We have you see as we use the life out of that little thing, and I was actually skeptical about buying it, but I'm glad I did. It ends up being really super handy in here. I like it a lot better than the chop saw. It cuts cleaner than the chop saw. It's a little handheld bandsaw. You do all kinds of good stuff with it. So George is cutting out the parts for that, and there they are. They are all cut. You need to put a little angle cut on there so that way we can get to the bolts, and got them all cleaned up, got them drilled, getting them up on there. We'll go ahead and tighten everything up, so that way make sure everything fits, everything looks good, all that good stuff. And so now we're gonna get the angle iron on there, because that's kind of you gotta spend a little time on that one, do some measurements and all that, because you know, balance, get it right, so that way it's, you know, I mean, I guess we could have built the base a little different where you could have it offset, but we didn't. We kind of, George's plan was to have that thing in the center. You'd like to have it in the center anyway when you're cooking, get your heat right. And so there they are, 2 pieces of angle iron. I'm gonna weld those to the angle iron to those square tubing, and then the other is gonna go to the stack on the base. But like I said, you take your time, that bad boy leveled up, squared up, so you know, because if you could crooked. And there we go, there it is. It's on there right now. George is kind of getting in, making sure that the gap between the base of the stack and the bottom of that flat top is good. And now we've got I'm getting some levels out, because you need to put a little bit of a slope, because on the front edge of that thing, you know, they got the drain, and then on the one side of the drain there's a little hole for it to drip down on the floor or into a little cup or something like that. George is going to add something later on for that. But right now we're trying to figure out the slope, because the last thing you want to do is be cooking your eggs, and all your eggs and everything else, or whatever, hamburgers go sliding off the grill because the grease is going. So we're just trying to make sure we get the right amount of slope, not too much, not too little. You want to be you want your food drowning in grease and oil. You kind of want that stuff to kind of flow over a little bit. So that's what we're doing now. Got our kind of where we think the bubbles look good, and making sure the slope is heading toward that drain, which the drain is right there. And so yeah, what we'll do is now is we're going to do a water test. We're just going to put water on it, see where it drains. Of course, when this thing's hot and you got grease on it, it's going to flow a lot faster. So that's a pretty good rate for there. It seems a little slow, but it's not really. So it's flowing over to the corner like it's supposed to. And so that way, you know, breakfast don't slide off, and for the burgers or whatever else, you know, fajita meat and all that ain't sliding off the grill. So there we go. She looks good. Now George is going to get it all, you know, do what George likes to do. Get it all welded out and get her sit in there right. So that way, you know, get her finished up, get it done with that part of it. So here we go, circus goers. So this is it. This is our flat top cooker. We got the gravity feed tube down there, you know, so that we can put your wood or coals or whatever you like to do with it. Just made out of some basic stuff around the shop, you know. Got the topper out of other car. Found it. So there's George showing off about the ability to take the top off of it, make it easier to clean, lighten it up a little bit, because it's a little heavy with the top on it. The little topper's heavy. The frame's not bad. That top's got some weight to it. So put all of it together, it gets a little heavy. So makes it nice and easy. Take it out, clean it, or store it. You know, if you don't want your, you don't want your top sitting out there. So, all right, circus goers. So that will do it for this one. Thanks for watching, and catch us on the next one. You know, flat top cooker. She's done. All right, thanks.